In the stillness of Nazareth, where the sun bathed the village in golden light, Leroy stood before Joseph, his half-brother, with a heart burdened by truth. For too long had Leroy carried the weight of his knowledge in silence. Now, as the evening shadows crept in, he knew it could be kept no more. "Joseph," Leroy began, his voice low and steady, though it wavered with the gravity of what he must say, "I must speak to thee of a matter most grave." Joseph, hard at work carving a beam, wiped his brow and looked to Leroy with mild curiosity. "What troubleth thee, Leroy? Speak plainly, for thy voice trembleth, as if it be heavy with woe." Leroy took a breath, his gaze turning from Joseph, fixing upon the earth below as though seeking strength from its silent steadiness. "Neither Jesus nor I are thy sons, Joseph. The truth thou hast been shielded from for too long. Mary hath not been as faithful as thou believest." Joseph froze, the chisel slipping from his hand. His eyes, once soft, grew hard with confusion and anger. "What madness speakest thou? What wild fancy hath taken hold of thee?" "It is no madness," Leroy continued, his voice gathering strength. "Mary hath carried on with men from other villages, in secret, while thou toiled and trusted in her purity. She bore thee no sons, Joseph. I am the child of another man, and so too is Jesus." Joseph took a step forward, his face darkening with disbelief, anger flickering behind his eyes. "Thou art deluded, Leroy. Mary, whom God himself hath favored, would never betray me so. The Almighty chose her, blessed her womb. How darest thou slander her name?" Leroy shook his head, a deep sorrow in his voice. "I speak only what is true. I have seen it, Joseph. The men from distant places, the meetings in secret. I tell thee not to harm thee, but to unburden thy soul with the truth." Joseph's breath quickened as fury rose within him. "Thou speakest lies, vile and cruel. How couldst thou believe such wickedness of thy own mother? Hast thou no fear of God's wrath for uttering such blasphemy?" Leroy stepped back, sensing the storm gathering in his brother's heart. "It is no lie. Thou hast been blind, Joseph, blinded by love and by faith. But I have seen, and others know as well. The village whispers what thou dost not hear." Joseph clenched his fists, his voice trembling with righteous anger. "Enough! I will hear no more of this devilry. Thou art led astray, and it is the serpent's tongue that speaks through thee. Mary is pure, chosen by God, not led by men of the earth." "I know this wounds thee, brother," Leroy pleaded, his hands raised in peace. "But the truth cannot be denied. Thou hast been deceived." But Joseph's eyes blazed, filled with a fire that would not be quenched. "Nay, it is thou who art deceived, Leroy. I will not believe these wicked words. God hath spoken through his angel. Mary is blessed amongst women, and no man's lies shall tarnish that truth. Be gone with thy poison." Leroy's heart sank as he realized the futility of his words. He had laid bare the truth, yet Joseph's faith was too strong, his love for Mary too deep. Nothing could shatter the image Joseph held of her, the holy mother of his children. Joseph turned his back on Leroy, his voice cold and final. "Leave me, and take thy falsehoods with thee. I will not suffer them in my house." With that, Leroy walked away, the weight of unspoken truths still heavy upon him. The village of Nazareth fell silent, save for the soft sound of Joseph's breath, steady and unshaken, as he clung to the only truth he would ever believe.